Good morning, students. Welcome to class 9th of Geography. Let's start today's session with lesson 6, Properties of Seawater. Seawater have three major properties which are essential to man as well as other life forms on earth. These properties are temperature, salinity and density. Now, today we are going to study about salinity. So, in this module, we will learn about the salinity of seas. The water flowing from various rivers into the sea contains different types of salt and minerals. The evaporation of sea and ocean water through the hydrologic cycle leads to a concentration of salt in this water. Hence, the proportion of this salt in the seawater keeps increasing, thus making it saline. The most commonly found salt compounds in ocean water are sodium, chlorine, magnesium, calcium and potassium. Factors that influence salinity are: first, rate of evaporation; second, supply of fresh water through rivers; third, supply of meltwater; fourth, wind; fifth, ocean currents; and sixth, rainfall. High salinity is observed in partially enclosed seas or landlocked seas due to higher rate of evaporation and limited supply of fresh water. Distribution of salinity. The difference in the amount of salinity occurs both horizontally and vertically. Horizontal distribution of salinity of ocean water is studied in relation to latitudes and regional distribution. On the basis of latitudinal distribution of salinity, we can identify four zones of oceanic salinity. These are equatorial zone, tropical zone, temperate zone and polar zone. Let us now study the distribution of salinity across open oceans, partially enclosed seas and landlocked seas. Now, first region is the equatorial region. The equatorial region is located between 0 and 15 degree north and south of the equator. This region receives direct sunlight, thus having high solar energy. This region also receives heavy rainfall throughout the year, thus having many rivers that flow into the ocean. The average salinity in the equatorial region is 34 parts per thousand. The next region is tropical. The tropical region lies between 15 and 35 degree north and south of the equator, receives medium amount of solar energy. This region has seasonal rainfall with very few rivers flow into the ocean. The salinity in the tropical region is very high, which being 37 parts per thousand. Next, the temperate region. The temperate region located between 35 and 65 degree north and south of the equator receives low sunlight. The rainfall in this region is seasonal with a medium supply of fresh river water to the oceans. Hence, the salinity is less in temperate region with an average of 33 parts per thousand. And the last region is the polar region. The polar region is located between 65 and 90° north and south of the equator. It receives very low sunlight at an inclination with seasonal rainfall. The supply of fresh river water is low while the supply of melt water is high. Hence, the salinity is quite low in the polar region with an average of 31 parts per thousand. Landlocked seas have higher salinity than open seas as the rate of evaporation is more and there is a lack of supply of fresh water from large rivers. Thus, there is a difference in the salinities of open and enclosed seas. For example, the average salinity of the Mediterranean Sea is 39 parts per thousand, while the salinity of the most saline ocean, that is the Atlantic Ocean, is 35 parts per thousand. So students, I hope you have understood the concept. Now let's recap. The evaporation of sea and ocean water through the hydrologic cycle leads to a concentration of salt in these waters. Hence, the proportion of these salts in the sea and ocean waters keep increasing, thus making it saline. Salinity refers to the concentration of dissolved salts in pure water. Next point is, the salinity of ocean water is expressed in parts per thousand by mass or weight, that is the number of grams of dissolved salt in 1000 grams of sea water. The factors that influence salinity are rate of evaporation, supply of fresh water through rivers, supply of melt water, wind, ocean currents and rainfall. Horizontal distribution of salinity of ocean water is studied in relation to latitudes and regional distribution. On the basis of latitudinal distribution of salinity, we can identify 4 zones of oceanic salinity. These are equatorial zone, tropical zone, temperate zone and polar zone. And the last point is, high salinity is observed in partially enclosed seas or landlocked seas due to higher rate of evaporation and limited supply of fresh water. Assignment. So children, your assignment is observe the following map and write the question and answers in your geography notebook. Thank you.